Hello everyone, Sangeeta here. Let's discuss metabolism of tryptophan today. Something regarding tryptophan. Tryptophan is also an aromatic amino acid along with phenylalanine and tyrosine. It is an essential amino acid. It contains an indole ring in its structure. It is both glucogenic and ketogenic. That means tryptophan, it is oxidized to produce alanine, which can be a substrate for glucose, which entering into gluconeogenesis. And also one of the end product of tryptophan metabolism is acetyl coenzyme, which can be entered for the synthesis of ketone bodies. So which is it is ketogenic also. So this is overview of tryptophan metabolism. So we'll be learning regarding the metabolism of tryptophan. Finally, it will be converted into glucose and fat in the form of its substrate like alanine and acetyl coenzyme, then which can be utilized for the synthesis of functional proteins. Then the special products synthesized from tryptophan are melatonin, serotonin and NAD and NADP plus. Now the metabolism of tryptophan divided into three pathways: kynurenine pathway, serotonin pathway, and the third one, bacterial degradative pathway. First of all, regarding the kynurenine pathway, it takes place in the liver. In this pathway, mainly tryptophan is oxidized to alanine that can be enter into gluconeogenesis, and acetyl coenzyme, which can be used for the synthesis of lipids, ketone bodies, etc. Then an important compound synthesized from tryptophan is niacin coenzymes like NAD plus and NADP plus are also synthesized through this kynurenine pathway. This is the overall pathway which shows the kynurenine pathway. Initially, tryptophan undergoing oxidation to form N-formyl kynurenine, and the reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme tryptophan pyrrolase enzyme, which is also known as tryptophan oxygenase enzyme. And this reaction is actually feedback inhibited by the end product nicotinic acid, that is NAD, NADP, etc. Okay, so this is one of the committed step of tryptophan metabolism. Tryptophan undergoing oxidation in presence of tryptophan pyrrolase or tryptophan oxygenase enzyme to form N-formyl kynurenine. Next, the formyl kynurenine, it is converted into kynurenine by a removal of the formyl group from the N-formyl kynurenine. The formyl group will be accepted by tetrahydrofolic acid. We know that it is a acceptor of one carrier, one carbon protein. So THFA will be converted into formyl THFA, which can be entered in the one carbon pool. Okay, and the enzyme catalyzing this reaction is kynurenine 4-amylase enzyme, which is not shown here. The enzyme is kynurenine 4-amylase, FORMYLASE, that is 4-amylase, kynurenine 4-amylase. Then next what happened, the kynurenine is then metabolized to 3-hydroxykynurenine by another enzyme, kynurenine hydroxylase enzyme, which is also not shown here. Remember, the enzyme is kynurenine hydroxylase. And further, the 3-hydroxykynurenine is converted into 3-hydroxyandranilic acid and also alanine. You can see one alanine molecule is eliminated here and 3-hydroxyandranilic acid. This reaction is catalyzed by the specific enzyme kynureninase enzyme. Kynureninase, second, that is kynureninase, which is a PLP dependent enzyme. So at this point there is a clinical significance. A deficiency of vitamin B6 or pyridoxine results in the failure to catabolize the hydroxykynurenine to hydroxykynurenine to 3-hydroxyanthranilic acid. So instead what will happen? The hydroxykynurenine forming xanthorrhenic acid and can be excreted through the urine. That I will explain in the coming slides. Okay, and this up to this you can see alanine is synthesized, which can enter for the gluconeogenetic pathway. Then from this point it can be divided into 2 points, either NAD pathway or the formation of acetoacetyl coenzyme A. So next 3-hydroxyanthranilide undergoes decarboxylation. So many reactions and one decarboxylation occurs here, forming the vitamin niacin. Niacin, which can be converted into NAD plus and NADP plus. Or this 3-hydroxyanthranilic acid also converted through a number of steps to acetyl coenzyme A. So no need to by heart these steps, but at least you should remember so many other reactions, and finally it can be converted into acetyl coenzyme that can enter into ketogenic pathway. So this pathway which explains the kynurenine pathway. Now this shows the continuation of kynurenine pathway, which explains the formation of niacin from the pathway. Okay, so 3-hydroxyanthranilic acid which converted into quinolinic acid and which undergoing decarboxylation to form niacin or nicotinic acid. So from tryptophan, one vitamin niacin is synthesized. Okay, then another important enzyme, quinolinate phosphoribosyl transferase enzyme, that is QPRTase enzyme, converting this niacin into NMN, that is nicotinate mononucleotide intermediate. So the phosphate group is donated by phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate, and that gives the ribose 5-phosphate to the niacin and giving the structure as NMN, that is nicotinate mononucleotide, which consists of a ribose 5-phosphate in its structure. Then another reaction with the catalysis of ATP to inorganic pyrophosphate, which will be converted into des-amido NAD plus, which in conjugation with the glutamine to form NAD plus, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So this explains the synthesis of niacin from tryptophan. Now you should remember kynurenine is a PLP dependent enzyme. In vitamin B6 deficiency there can be niacin deficiency. So that is the point. Now to understand the deficiency of vitamin B6, there is a test known as tryptophan load test. So in vitamin B6 deficiency, obviously the kynureninase function defective. The enzyme activity of kynureninase enzyme will be defective. So what will happen? The accumulation of 3-hydroxykynurenine occurs. 3-hydroxykynurenine, then it is converted into xanthorrhenic acid. Xanthorrhenic, RE, the spelling mistake is there, xanthorrhenic acid. This can be excreted through the urine. So this is what happens during deficiency of vitamin B6. So in normal person, the excretion of xanthorrhenic acid is nearly 1 to 3 milligrams per day only, where in vitamin B6 deficiency 2 to 11 milligram per day occurs. That is, regarding xanthorrhenic acid excretion occurs between 2 to 11 milligram per day. That is in case of vitamin B6 deficiency. This occurs after taking a 2-gram load of tryptophan. So to understand whether there is any vitamin B6 deficiency, patient is asked to take tryptophan. That is, nearly 2-gram load of tryptophan will be given to the patient, and after we are estimating the amount of xanthorrhenic acid which is excreted through the urine after 24 hours we are measuring. Okay, so that is known as tryptophan load test. So in pyridoxine deficiency, much higher amount of xanthorrhenic acid is excreted after loading with tryptophan. Up to 60 milligrams per day excretion occurs. Okay, so this is regarding tryptophan load test to understand vitamin B6 deficiency. Now another point, from 60 milligram of tryptophan, 1 milligram of niacin can be synthesized. We have learned these things in vitamins also. 60 milligram of tryptophan is equal to 1 milligram of niacin. Pellagra-like symptoms in maize eating population is due to tryptophan deficiency. So in maize actually there will be lack of tryptophan. So tryptophan deficiency is seen in maize eating population. It can lead to pellagra-like symptoms. Tryptophan rich diet has sparing effect on niacin requirement. Now, the biologically important compounds synthesized from niacin. So, we have discussed it is serotonin, melatonin, niacin, etc. So, niacin we have already explained under the heading of metabolism of tryptophan. Now, next is serotonin pathway. So, this is overall serotonin pathway. First of all, serotonin is oxidized to 5-hydroxytryptophan by the enzyme tryptophan hydroxylase enzyme, and this requires tetrahydrobiopterin. So here you can understand that this reaction is almost similar to the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine, where there also tetrahydrobiopterin was required as the coenzyme and also NADPH for the resynthesis of tetrahydrobiopterin. So the first reaction, oxidation of tryptophan to 5-hydroxytryptophan by tryptophan hydroxylase enzyme. Then this undergoes, that is 5-hydroxytryptophan undergoes decarboxylation to yield serotonin. Okay, so the enzyme is PLP dependent aromatic amino acid decarboxylase. Simply remember decarboxylase enzyme which is dependent on PLP, and you are getting your first product as 5-hydroxytryptamine, that is also known as serotonin. Okay, and the remaining pathway can even lead to the other important compound, that is melatonin. Okay, serotonin we know that it is synthesized from tryptophan by neurons, pineal glands, then intestinal argindaphin cells, etc. Usually in normal adults, 1% of tryptophan can be converted into serotonin. Okay, so this serotonin can be converted into 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. Then serotonin also, which can undergoing acetylation to form acetyl serotonin, then transmethylation which leads to the formation of melatonin. So this pathway which explains the formation of both serotonin and melatonin. So once again the same thing, synthesis of serotonin from tryptophan, two enzymatic reaction, tryptophan oxidized to 5-hydroxytryptophan by tryptophan hydroxylase which undergoing decarboxylation to form 5-hydroxytryptamine which is also known as serotonin. So this is similar to the phenylalanine to tyrosine reaction. This is a decarboxylation reaction where PLP is required as the coenzyme. Only two enzymatic reactions are involved for the synthesis of serotonin. Now regarding the serotonin, it is synthesized from tryptophan. I told only 1% of tryptophan is converted into serotonin. And the location where serotonin production occurs, gastric mucosa, intestine, brain, mast cells and platelets. The synthetic reaction is similar to the synthesis of dopamine. Now, the facts regarding the serotonin. Serotonin does not cross the blood-brain barrier. It is synthesized or produced locally in the brain. In the brain, it acts as a neurotransmitter. It is a neurotransmitter and stimulates the cerebral activity. So therefore, serotonin deficiency can lead to decrease in the cerebral activity, which can lead to depression. Note that point. Now regarding the serotonin functions in detail, I told it is a neurotransmitter helping for the regulation of brain activity, especially the stimulation, and controls the behavioral patterns, sleep and blood pressure and body temperature. Okay, so in human usually serotonin involved in all the behavioral patterns including sleep, body temperature, blood pressure, etc. And also it evokes a release of peptide hormones from GIT and can help for increase in gastric motility. Okay, then It is also a powerful vasoconstrictor and stimulator of smooth muscle contraction. So it helps for the constriction of the bronchioles and arterioles. Smooth muscle constriction in bronchioles and arterioles. And it has some role in sensitivity to pain, which is getting reduced. This is another important fact regarding serotonin. Why we feel sleepy after a rich carbohydrate food. That explains this slide. When protein rich diet taken all the amino acids available in food. So usually this causes traffic jam in the amino acid transport system to the brain. So tryptophan, bulkiest amino acid will be taken, being a bulkiest amino acid will be taken very slowly to the brain. Whereas when carbohydrate rich diet is taken, what will happen? Insulin secretion is increased. So that leads to lower the amino acid concentration in the blood. So in this situation, tryptophan easily enters the brain, and from the tryptophan, serotonin can be produced in brain. So that may induce sleep. So that is why we feel sleepy when we consume a very rich diet which is rich in carbohydrate. Now regarding the catabolism of serotonin. So catabolism of serotonin, 5-hydroxytryptamine or serotonin in presence of monoamine oxidase enzyme, it will be converted into 5-HIAA, that is 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid can be excreted through the urine. So the levels of serotonin, it is likely or linked to the mood. That is why antidepressant drugs were developed that affect serotonin levels. So these are the another clinical facts. Then inhibitors of MAO, that is monoamino oxidase enzyme, can decrease the degradation of serotonin, so that thereby serotonin concentration can be increased. So excess production of serotonin, increased excretion of 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. That is another point. So you should remember that. So in psychiatric disorders, certain drugs are developed either by inhibiting monoamino oxidase enzyme or some derivatives of serotonin used to give to control the mood. Okay, so for example, iprionazide, which inhibits monoamino oxidase enzyme and elevates serotonin concentration, and it gives a psychic stimulation. Then lysergic acid diethylamide, which compete with serotonin and acting as depressant. Okay, now coming to the melatonin production. Serotonin undergoing acetylation in presence of acetylase enzyme to form acetyl serotonin. Then it undergoing transmethylation in presence of S-adenosyl methionine to form melatonin. Only two enzymatic reaction, methyl transferase, that is transmethylation, and acetylation to form melatonin. Now, what is melatonin? So this is the overall pathway which explaining the serotonin and melatonin, what we have already seen. Once again, tryptophan oxidized to 5-hydroxytryptophan by tryptophan 5-hydroxylase enzyme, which undergoing decarboxylation to form serotonin, which undergoing acetylation and transmethylation to form melatonin. So this is an easier pathway. You can write to study the production of serotonin and melatonin in a single pathway. So melatonin is a hormone produced from serotonin by the pineal gland. So usually the synthesis is regulated by light-dark cycle. It is synthesized mostly at night. That is, melatonin usually synthesized at night. Level in blood rising in a dark environment, action is thought to be mediated by a cyclic AMP mediated reaction. So usually melatonin is connected with the diurnal variations, sleep-wake cycles, and involved in regulating reproductive functions. So it is usually a sleep-inducing substance and is involved in regulation of circadian rhythm of the body and involved in regulating reproductive functions. So here this slide which shows the bacterial degradation of tryptophan. So tryptophan can undergo transamination to form indole pyruvic acid in presence of alpha ketoglutarate. Reaction is transamination in presence of pyridoxal phosphate. Indole pyruvic acid which undergoing decarboxylation, specifically oxidative decarboxylation to form indole acetic acid. Further decarboxylation which leads indole acetic acid to scatol. Further decarboxylation of scatol to form indole, then oxidation of indole to form indoxyl, then sulfation of indoxyl to form indoxyl sulfate. And it can be excreted in the form of potassium salt of indoxyl sulfate, that is indican. Now the disorders associated with the tryptophan metabolism. First of all, carcinoid syndrome. It is also known as argendaphenomas. So serotonin can be produced by the specific cells like argendaphin cells, which are the cells of which lines the GIT tract. So serotonin can be produced by the argendaphin cells in the GIT. The cancer, carcinoid tumor or argendaphenomas is actually uncontrolled growth develops, that is tumor called malignant carcinoid, that is known as argendaphenoma. So usually only 1% of tryptophan can be converted into serotonin. In this disease, 60% of the tryptophan will be converted into serotonin production. So what happens, the normal tryptophan metabolism will be getting affected. Synthesis of NAD will be getting impaired. Symptoms like pellagra can be developed in carcinoid tumor. Serotonin synthesis which increases, that is more than 40 milligram per deciliter, and all these things can lead to the specific symptoms of carcinoid tumors such as cutaneous flushing, respiratory distress, bronchospasm, right-sided heart failure, fluctuating hypertension, etc. So these are the symptoms which shows in seen in carcinoid syndrome. You can see flushing, then cardiac disease, bronchoconstriction, abdominal pain, diarrhea, dermatitis, etc. For the diagnosis of carcinoid tumor, we can estimate the urinary level of 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. Normal excretion of HIAA, that is 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid, is 2 to 7 milligram per day. If the urine level is greater than 25 milligram per day of this 5-HIAA, that shows the diagnosis of carcinoid tumor. In metastatic carcinoid tumor, usually greater than 350 milligram of 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid will be excreted per day. For the collection of urine sample, urine collected after stopping all the medication for 72 hours should be taken, and further random fresh urine sample should be collected to check the 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. Now the second disorder, Hartnup disease. It is an inherited disorder of tryptophan metabolism. It is reported first in Hartnup, that is the family of Hartnup. Maybe the person who have got this disease first, his name is Hartnup. That is why the disease name is given as Hartnup disease. And here the defect is due to intestinal and renal transport of tryptophan. Defect in the intestinal and renal transport of tryptophan along with other neutral amino acid will be defective here. So the amino acid will be excreted in urine. So what happens actually? It can lead to tryptophan deficiency and ultimately leads to the decreased production of vitamin niacin, and also serotonin production will be getting decreased. So what happens? The pellagra-like symptoms will be more in case of this Hartnup disease, and decreased serotonin synthesis also will be responsible for the neurological symptoms like mental retardation, intermittent cerebellar ataxia, then pellagra-like skin rashes, etc. can be occur in case of Hartnup disease. And also aminoaciduria can be occur in case of carcinoid syndrome. Along with the neurological and pellagra-like symptoms, aminoaciduria also due to failure of transport of amino acid from the kidney. The plasma level of tryptophan will be decreased urinary excretion of tryptophan and indole compounds will be increased, because the unabsorbed tryptophan will be fermented with the intestinal bacteria, so the putrefaction products like indole compounds also will be increased. So decreased synthesis of serotonin and niacin are responsible for neurological symptoms and pellagra like rashes. So this shows the symptoms and signs of Hartnup disease: red scaly, photosensitive rashes, then renal aminoaciduria, diarrhea, then seizures, etc. Then one particular test is there to identify the disease, that is Obermeyer test. The urine indican test is also known as Obermeyer test. So urine indican is an indicator of intestinal toxemia and overgrowth of anaerobic bacteria. So indican is an indole compound when bacteria in the intestine act on the amino acid tryptophan. So in the last metabolism I told the bacterial putrefaction product of tryptophan, indole, scatol, etc. So this indican is an indicator of intestinal toxemia and overgrowth of anaerobic bacteria. And what is the test actually? Obermeyer test, the urine treated with Obermeyer reagent. Obermeyer reagent is ferric chloride dissolved in hydrochloric acid and chloroform. A clear solution which indicates a negative test, an opaque or indigo color which indicates a positive result. So remember, urine plus Obermeyer reagent, if it gives an indigo color, indicates a positive result along with opacity. Normal level of indican excretion is between 4 and 20 milligram per day. So in diseases, this specifically in the Hartnup diseases, the excretion of indican will be more. So Obermeyer test will be positive in case of Hartnup's disease. So this is all about tryptophan metabolism. So kindly focus on the biologically important compounds synthesized from tryptophan such as niacin, serotonin and melatonin. So you should focus on the pathway which is synthesizing these compounds. One thing. Second thing, the disorders associated with the tryptophan metabolism. Example, carcinoid tumor or argentaphenomas and also Hartnup's disease. Thank you so much.